On this week's video, we're upgrading the differential gears in my Jeep and showing you guys why this upgrade is worth doing with larger size tires. What's up everyone and how's it going? My name is Dan and this is the Evolved Jeeping channel. Today's video, what we're going to be doing is installing some new gears in the differentials on my 2019 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Today's video will not be a step-by-step instruction or installation video, and the reason is because installing differential gears is a little bit out of my wheelhouse and my experience, and to be honest, I don't really recommend it to anybody who wants to do it themselves. I recommend that you take it to a shop that has experience doing that, which is exactly why I'm here at Dedona Enterprises, because I'm going to have them install the new gears. What we're going to be focusing on today's video is mainly just a comparison of how the smaller gear ratio does to the larger gear ratio, and kind of testing out and, kind of just discovering why this upgrade is worth doing when you are running larger size tires. On my Jeep, which is a Rubicon, I have the 410 gears, which is what I believe is the largest gear ratio that you can get from factory. I've been running this for about 7 years now, and I've ran 4 different sizes of tires. Obviously ran the stock 32-ish tires for a while there. Obviously that was fine. Then I upgraded to the 37-inch tires. With the 37s, I would say that I didn't notice any real difference. I feel like the 410s with the 37s performed just fine. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit slower, but it wasn't anything that I really cared to address. I felt like the truck was in 8th gear all the time. Sometimes it would fall out of, but it wasn't anything that concerned me. I ran the 37s for a couple years, then I upgraded to 38s. When I did 38s, I did notice a little bit of drop in performance. So I noticed it a little bit more sluggish on startups or acceleration. And I noticed that the Jeep would not see 8th gear. It really only see 8th gear when you were going downhill, but most of the time it would stay in 7th gear. The most recent tire size upgrade that I've done is actually moving to 40-inch tires. And with 40-inch tires, it was a major performance loss. With acceleration, definitely more sluggish. And on the highway, it never saw 7th gear. Well, actually, it saw 7th gear, but it was mostly on decelerate, or not deceleration, but going down hills, it would get into 7th. Most of the time, it would stay in 6th gear. And when going uphill, it would actually go into 4th gear at 45,000 RPMs. And because it was not getting all the gears for the Jeep Wrangler, it was also costing me some gas mileage. So definitely noticed a loss in gas mileage, which is exactly why I now need to do the Regear. The gears that I'm going to be upgrading to are 538s, and the reason I'm upgrading to 538s is based on this chart right here, and also based on the recommendations from Jimmy from Dedona Enterprises. As you can see on this chart, with 538s and 40s, I'm going to be running in the lower end of the performance gear set. Technically, I could run 513s, but with 513s, that puts me in the ideal daily driving rotation. But from Jimmy's experience, a lot of people who have done the 513s on 40-inch tires kind of regretted it. A lot of them chose to do it because they wanted better gas mileage, but once they did it, they were just like, nah, I should have went with the larger one. So he recommended that I go with the larger one, especially with the area we live in that does have elevation, that would be a better gear set to go with. So that is what we're going to be installing today. As mentioned, we're not going to be showing you guys the step-by-step process, but what we are going to do is probably jump over there and bug George, the mobile gear guy. We're going to ask him some questions about what he does have to do, just so we get a general idea. But later in this video, the comparison that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at 3 different factors. First, we're going to take a look at acceleration, 0 to 60, see if we notice it faster or slower with the new gears. We're also going to take a look at the performance of the gears or transmission at 75 miles per hour. So we're going to see how the gears are doing, what gears we end up in. And with that, we're also going to take a look at the miles per gallon. So we're going to do a little comparison to see if we do get better gas mileage with the new gear ratio. So that will be later into the video. Obviously, the first thing we have to do is put the gears in. So let's go ahead and flip this camera around and go bug George with some stupid questions about how to do this. Okay, George, time for me to bug you with some questions. George?
Yo,
How long have you been doing gears for?
20 years
20 years. Wow.
since high school.
Wow.
Well, my only job I ever have.
And based on my experience being here at the shop, whenever we do run into a problem, he definitely knows how to address it and how to fix it. So if you're looking for Regears, he'll be able to take care of anything you got. George, what do we have to do essentially? What's the general idea of what do you have to take apart? Obviously, you're taking apart everything.
Basically, dry shaft, axles, strip everything out. And of course, I change everything. Everything that's consistent on the differential. Bearings, axle seals, which sometimes I don't do axle seals and stuff. If they're good, I leave them. But if they, other than that, internally, everything is new, fresh. I always make sure I clean everything inside, nice and spotless, because I don't want no contamination on the differential. So that's basically for the disassembly of the differential. Other than that, the new parts are gonna be nice and clean too. Spray them, take the grease off, and then we go from there to the setting.
Wow.
Which is the main thing. Is make sure I take 2-3 times my time to do this setting, because I don't like to do job twice. So as you know.
So one thing you were saying to me as soon as you opened up and drained the oil, because we got the oil drained out, is that it stinks. You pretty much said you've obviously never serviced this, which is definitely the case.
Yep.
And you can tell that just by the smell of the oil.
Yes. And the color. A lot of people, they think differential is not supposed to be serviceable, but you're supposed to change it. Either I would say maybe every 10,000, 15,000, which people don't ever do.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'm definitely one of those people that didn't think I needed to do it. Never really addressed it, but obviously, you know, I guess that's something to keep healthy, especially if you're off-road, right?
They call it just a myth. Like, you don't have to change your drivetrain, your traffic case, your here and there, you gotta flush your transmission oil too. Either you don't want to flush it completely, you could do little by little, just by changing 3-4 quarts. So it cleans out here and there.
That's good to know. Definitely something worth making sure I keep in mind that, you know, make sure to change it like you did.
Yep.
So now you're disconnecting the drive shaft?
Yeah, basically you gotta disassemble everything. So
Okay. So guys, basically George has got to take apart all the stock stuff before we can even get into the fun part of putting the new stuff in. So we're going to let him continue along with that. And what we're going to do now is show you guys the gears that we're going to be installing. The gears that we're going with are from Revolution Gears. What we've gone ahead with is a full kit. It features the ring and pinion and the master overhaul bearing kit. A lot of people believe that you don't necessarily need the bearing kit, but you know, at Dedona Enterprise, they kind of want to do it once. So they always recommend this to their customer just so that we're putting all new parts in. Revolution Gears is a good brand out there. They're maybe not one of the most well-known ones, you know, like a Yukon gear, but from the experience that Dedona Enterprises had, the Revolution Gears has definitely been, you know, very successful. They haven't had any issues with it, no weird noises, and it's the kit that they tend to recommend here. If anybody does want any other gears, Dedona Enterprise will easily do it for you. If you want Yukon gears or anything, we will install them. But our recommendation, or Jimmy's recommendation, is Revolution gears. So we're going to see how these perform in my JL.
So basically, this is the old solenoid going back on the JLs.
Oh, that goes bad a lot of times?
Yes, any movement or anything in the oil. So that's why I don't wash or anything. I just basically,
Wipe it down.
I like my job to be nice and clean. I don't like nothing. So all I do is wipe it down and explain your customers here and there. If something goes wrong down the line, you know it's this. So all you do is bypass it with whatever there's out there, and your locker will be working again.
Yeah, because we've had a few customers come in where they have a light on their dash saying it's a slipping gear.
Axle code.
Axle code, and it's all related to that. It's not related to actually a bad gear. It's just related to that little sensor. So, fun things with the JL.
Yeah, so they upgraded already. So hopefully, I don't know if they're going bad or not. But other than that, these I just like to wipe it down the most I can. That's about it. But to all the installers out there, don't take the blame. Just tell the customer, because the bypass is pretty $200-300 easy. So you don't eat that job, because it ain't your fault.
That's definitely good advice to some of the installers out there.
Yeah, because people, they think you do something wrong and they want to blame you for it. They want you to pay for it. I'm like, nah, it's not it. It's just a recall that they never put it out there.
And that's exactly why I have you doing this, because I wouldn't want to be responsible for messing that up on my own.
Yep. Well, down the line, a lot of people say, any bum can do the job. Okay. So I guess I'm a bum, but other than that, I sell them the parts. 2-3 days later, they come back with the tail between the butt. And can you do the cut over? And they have to pay for the parts and the labor extra again over. Just, pay the labor once, get it done, make what you gotta make, and that's it.
George, what are you doing here?
Well, the seal has a sealing.
Oh, so you're like cleaning it, removing that?
Yeah, removing it so it doesn't affect the new seal. Cause a lot of the seals, either they leak because they're gonna be on top of the old seal. So I don't like leakies, to tell the truth. Gets my nerve.
So this is just like prepping for the new stuff that you're gonna be putting in.
Yeah, it's prevention too for myself. I don't like to do things, so I hate it.
Okay.
So
that's cool. As you can see, he's got the whole gear set out, as we saw on the bench there, and getting it all cleaned up to, I guess, put it back in, right?
Yeah. Just put everything together, do the first run to see where we at, and from there, I make my adjustments. Either open the backlash, or if it's too deep or too shallow, I add or take shims off, and that's about it. That's my way to do it, which I've been doing it for 20 years. I went to I went to Arizona to get certified.
Oh,
from Yukon, which, spent 3-4 days over there. They treat me good, so on the part which is the only gear that really offer that training. But other than that, I really didn't need it, but
yeah,
it's nothing always. You can say you can't go wrong with a little Hanks, or the guy got more experience than you, So this is another mistake they did. They put a ball bearing.
Oh.
Ball bearing is failing so bad that you don't know about what's going on. So what they did now, they give you the same the inner pinion bearing from the JK, which is the same bearing but not the same height. So what you do, you put the here behind the race. So basically it's the same height as the ball bearing.
So this is the JL. This is what the JLs were, and that's similar to what the JKs were.
Yep.
And so that's an upgrade with the Revolution kit.
Yeah, because those bearings, there wasn't lasting a lot of problem and a lot of stuff. So that's a good. So that way you get a good upgrade. So that's a good thing.
Okay, well that's
Not thing to worry about.
yeah, that's definitely one more peace of mind with why going with Revolutions actually might be worth it. So George, you just bolted the new gears to the factory assembly? What would you call that?
That's a carrier.
The carrier.
This is an e-locker. Only the Rubicon comes.
Okay, so you attached it to the carrier for the e-locker for the Rubicon.
Yeah.
George, what are you measuring?
So now, these new ones, now they have an inner pinion bearing is under the race instead of the pinion. So for the installer, it's pretty easy for us now because we don't have to be pressing the bearing on and off. Basically, what this bearing, this shim does, it brings the head of the gear away from the center line of the gear or inner. So basically,
What's a shim to change the position of where that piece lies? Okay, George, I got another dumb question for you. How many parts are in the differential?
well, you got 4 bearings, you got 2 and the two inner and outer, and cross collar, and the seal. That's about it. And this part.
It just seems really, watching you put this back together, that was a lot of parts.
Not really.
No, but it looked like it. Just seems like a lot.
Yep.
George, what are you doing here?
So I'm putting the compound, and I'm gonna do my first run to see where it is right now.
This will tell you how it's sitting and how it's biting the gears together.
Yeah, the contact pattern of the two gears, the way they make. But usually now, because it's a high-end machine, I guess, Revolution, you don't have to do much around complication or on and off. You got it here and there, but other than that, sometimes you just got to put 5,000 to add it or remove, and you'll be right in the money.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah, I just need a little bit. It's a little shallow because it's a little bit on the top, but you need like 2,000-3,000 and you'll be good. Don't worry about the coarse patterns.
So that means you're gonna add shims?
Yeah, and I add a little, that's a little thing, and I said be good.
Okay.
Don't worry about this side because you don't drive in this side, and usually they don't machine it usually good for you to get a good pattern in that side either. The way of the car, and just in case he steps, he doesn't, because remember, like it or not, it can be so tight as hell, but this housing flex.
You want to shove it in more.
As tight as preloads, and the deeper I could go, I like to do it that way, because the housing flex. So basically the gear, it can move, and that's how people end up breaking usually the weakest spot, which is over here. But remember, this is the two-cut gear, so double cut. So it's very short. It's a long tooth, but it's very short. That's what the strength is.
This thickness right here staying the same.
Yep.
On the 2-cup. On the single, it takes.
Yep.
It's just the same.
So you have to pull it all apart again and re-shim it.
Yeah, because it gets me. You see over here, the tip of the gear.
Mm-hmm.
See that? And then you go to the middle. It's like a moon. See the moon?
Yeah.
This way, just follow the arrow. Get it?
And that tells you to...
Just to go in a little more. See it? It's like in a consistency.
Yeah.
But it's showing me that it's almost on the top of the tooth and it's at the oval. So it's very telling you just to go a little bit up this way. When the other one, when it's deep, you're gonna see it. It's gonna be towards the end, and it's gonna be like a moon, but facing this way.
Okay, so you just respun it again. And what's your thoughts on this one?
But I got more consistency off on the gear itself. Before was more now it's more complex. Now you can see it.
Oh yeah, you can actually really see it.
You see how round it is.
More coverage. Yeah.
You see round. It's like an egg too. You see. Before it was just you wouldn't see it much.
Okay.
So now the contact is more. Yep.
So now that you're done this, the next part is what? Pretty much put everything back together?
Now, this is the patient. A lot of people say I don't got no patience, which I don't. But doing differential, it's like a therapy, I guess.
Oh, you have to take it apart again?
I had to take it apart again, put the cross collars, or a cross collar, which is this cross collar. I gotta crush it.
Yeah.
And I gotta little by little. I had to go, and this is not a regular torch. This is an inch pound.
Okay.
So I'm measuring the inch pound rotation. So the drag between the pinion bearings and the cross collar. So I gotta cross a little by little. While I cross it, I gotta check. Like this one is from 15 to 19,000 with a 19-inch pound. So I gotta go little by little. As soon as I reach 15, I gotta just go little by little because I don't want to overcross them.
What's the crush collar do?
Cross collar just keep the tension between the two bearings.
Okay.
So interesting.
So you got to install that, and then where are we at with that? After that, we
just seal.
Wow. So there's a lot of parts still left to go.
Oh yeah, I gotta retort that, put everything back together.
Okay.
And basically that's about it now. So.
And then after that, you would repeat the entire process for the front, right?
Which the front is a little more labor because I already removed basically some brakes. But now you got an actuator on the right side, which supposed to be so your front differential doesn't spin while you're driving just with the back one. So you're not putting really any mileage on the front differential until you do four-wheel drive.
Okay. So it's a little different. Wow, there's a lot of parts to this. So, George, what I'm going to probably do is let you do the entire build and continue on, and stop asking you some dumb questions and let you just focus on what you need to do. So, George, thanks for your little inputs. And we're back. It's been about 2 weeks since we installed the gears in my Jeep. One thing you might have noticed during the installation part there is I didn't really show that much content or ask that much questions about the front differential. And the reason is because typically we do our gear installations on Saturdays, and technically I'm still working. So during that part, I was actually working, and unfortunately, when he was doing the installation for the front differentials, I didn't have the time to come down and bug him and capture some content because we had some customers come in that needed my help figuring out what parts they wanted to install on their Jeep. But after having a conversation with George, my understanding is that the installation of the gears in the front differential are pretty much the same. The only difference really is the, taking apart the front end, because it does have steering, so it's a little different there. And the front axle has the fab in it, and with the fab, it's just another thing you have to take apart. I don't think with the fab there's anything you have to change. I think really all you do is take it apart and then put it back together. But it is a little bit of a other step involved in the front. But for the installation of the gears, nothing different there. Kind of all the same steps that he did in the rear. So I probably would have just had the same questions anyways. One thing that I did want to do and didn't have the opportunity to capture was actually a little bit of a closeout where we would kind of have an interview with George and, find out how the installation went on the Jeep, and also, any other points he wanted to mention. We didn't get a chance to do that. Kind of sucks, but it's okay. One point that I know that George did want to mention in today's video is he did want to mention that the steps in the process that he does for installing differential gears is not necessarily the only way to do the installation. Everybody can do it their own way. He has just found that the way he does his installation works. He has 20 years plus of installing this, and how he does it is the way he's found the best results. So he continues to do that. He doesn't judge anybody for doing it differently, and he feels that he also shouldn't be judged for the way he does it. If you do have any tips or comments, feel free to post below, and I'll pass it on to George, because I know he's always someone looking to evolve, and if somebody has a better suggestion, maybe he'll consider it for installation. So as I did mention, it has been 2 weeks since George finished the installation, which means we've also completed the break-in period for the new gears, which means we can now get into doing the comparison testing so that we can see how the Jeep fully does after installing the new gears. This is super exciting because I haven't actually really pushed the Jeep at all. I've kind of just been babying it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it performs with the 538 gears. As I've already mentioned in this video, what we're going to do to do a little bit of a comparison to before and after is 3 tests. First is going to be a 0 to 60 test. We're going to see if the time has changed in any way, if the vehicle's faster or not. Then we're going to do a test where we're going to see how the gears are shifting going 75 miles per hour in a certain section on a freeway. Then we're also going to do a little bit of a comparison for the miles per gallon. We're going to see if we've got better miles per gallon after doing the gear change. Again, all of these tests are not super scientific. We're just kind of trying it to see how it is. And I'm kind of just hoping to share the results with you guys. And, hopefully you guys can make your own judgment on if the gears made a difference. Three, two, one, go. Well, guys, as you can see here, we did see a slight reduction in the 0 to 60 time for the new gear ratio. The 410 gears are on the left and the 538 gears are on the right. And as you can see with the times paused right here, the 538s, we saw a minor millisecond difference. Obviously, it's not a crazy difference, and honestly, I never expected it to be a difference because it is still Jeep and it's still riding on 40s, but this test does show there is a little bit of a improvement in the performance with the new gear ratio. So just in case you missed it, let's go ahead and rewind this and watch it one more time. For the gear performance test, as you can see right here on the left with the 538 gears, we see a symbol that says D8. That means the transmission is finally in 8th gear. This is a big improvement because with the 410 gears, we never saw 8th gear. We typically were mostly in 6th gear and maybe, in 7th gear, but we never saw the 8th gear. Where with this test, you can actually see that we actually see 8th gear for the majority of the time. So this shows that there is a major improvement in the gear ratio performance, and we are now utilizing the full 8 gears of the transmission. And right here, we actually faced a little bit of a hill on the freeway, and you'll notice with the new gear ratio, we only dropped down to 7th gear, where with the 410 gears, we actually either dropped down to 6th or 5th. So major increase on inclines. So really nice to see that the Jeep is probably performing closer to the way it was designed. This entire test was about 17 to 18 minutes long, and we traveled a total distance of about 17 to 18 miles. For the 410 gears, we got an average miles per gallon reading of about 11.7, and with the 538 gears, we unfortunately only saw an average of 10.4. So for some reason, we actually saw a decrease with the new gear ratio. I'm not sure why this happened. Possibly this could be because we were going 75 miles per hour, or it also could be because it was a lot colder when we did the after test. Typically, we should have saw an improvement in our miles per gallon, so there might be something else going on with this test. But for now, these are the results. Let's move on to the next part of this video. So the test results are kind of interesting. As I did mention, this comparison testing that I'm doing was not going to be super scientific in any way. Basically, all I was doing was driving the Jeep around in a certain route and then showing you guys how the Jeep is performing and how the results were. Technically, if I wanted this test to be a little bit more scientific and accurate, what I probably should have done is done the route a couple times before and then also done the route a couple times after and then averaged out the results and then compared those. I didn't do that. I just did one before and one after, so it's not necessarily super accurate. So don't take anything I'm showing in this video as like the way it should be. But even though it's not accurate, I do think you guys can still see the difference in the video. For the acceleration, maybe the numbers don't really show that it is going faster, but it felt like it did. It definitely felt like more torque for sure. The vehicle definitely has more like stands up when you accelerate. And with that torque, it's definitely going to be helpful when doing any off-roading because torque just helps you, be able to climb obstacles a little bit easier. So do think there is a performance upgrade in the new gear ratio. For the driving and seeing how the gears are shifting, definitely saw a difference. You guys saw in the footage that I now get into 7th and 8th gear. So that is an improvement there. Because we are seeing the higher gear ratio in our transmission, that does mean we technically should be seeing better fuel mileage. But for some reason with this test, and this is kind of where the test gets weird, we didn't see a gas mileage improvement. We actually saw a decrease. So the after was worse than the before. This was concerning and a little bit troublesome. Don't know why this is happening. One of the main reasons we did a regear was to get better gas mileage. But for some reason, our test is saying that we got worse gas mileage. There's a couple reasons I think this might be happening, and it might have nothing to do with the ratio or the new gears. What it has to do with is I actually did the test with a 75 mile per hour speed. This is probably not the speed I should have done it at. Technically, I probably should have done it at 70 miles per hour. This is the miles per hour that a lot of the charts use. I thought it was 75 when I did the before. Didn't realize until after when I was doing the after that I should have been doing 70. But because I had already filmed the before at 75, had to do the test with 75 so you can see the accurate difference. Based on some research I did, I read that with higher gear ratios, when you start to go above 70 miles per hour, your fuel mileage is really effective. So the vehicle starts to really, suck in the gas. So this might be why we're seeing worse gas mileage. This might be one reason. Another reason is because the weather changed a little bit from when I filmed the first before and when I filmed the after. It's a lot colder. I actually went ahead and did that route again just now. That's where I'm in the vehicle. And the results are better than the last after, but still worse than the before. This, again, temperature's a little bit warmer. So maybe that was the factor. You know, I really don't know. I don't know why we're seeing a worse miles per gallon. Not sure why that's happening. It's kind of concerning. What I'm probably think it also might be do with is the route I did is only like a 17-minute route. It's all freeway. I don't know. I really don't know why. So what I think I'm going to do is drive the Jeep for a little bit longer. And for this video, I actually will put an update below based on the miles I'm seeing. I'm kind of just going to give you guys some numbers so that you understand, what we're seeing. I'll kind of put a log, I'll put an update, just kind of put that in the description below. So guys, at this point, I don't really have much more to show you guys in today's video. Hopefully from this entire video, you are able to make your own judgment on whether you should get gears for your Jeep Wrangler if you're running larger size tires. Personally, I think it's worth it. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who's running larger size tires. I feel that the Jeep performs better. I feel like when I press the pedal just a little bit, the vehicle gets up to the speed I want, versus before I'd have to put the pedal all the way to the ground and just hold it down and wait till I got there. So definitely feel like the vehicle's going a lot better. If you guys have any questions or comments about anything we've shown in today's video, feel free to comment below and I'll do the best to answer it. I do want to thank George, the mobile gear guy, for being a part of today's video. He answered some great questions, even though I was kind of buggy in them. If you want to contact George for any work, I will put his contact information below. You can just hit him up and he could come out and help you out with your gear issue. If you're looking to get your Jeep Wrangler or actually any vehicle re-geared, you can actually get it done at Dedona Enterprise as well by George. I'm going to put Dedona Enterprises contact information in the description below also. You can either call them, contact them through the website, through the contact request form, or better yet, stop by the shop and see them in person, and they'd be happy to show you guys the shop, the showroom, and give you pricing on what a gear kit or gear regearing would cost for your vehicle. Yeah, guys, nothing else to say on today's video. As I usually do to wrap up this video, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Keep evolving, and we'll see you guys on the next video.